Talk is about a zooming presentation tool called Sozi, and this talk is also a live demo of what you can do with Sozi. To put a little background information, well, when I started working as a teacher and researcher 10 years ago, I did a lot of slideshows like everybody else, and my slideshow software usually proposed this layout for slides. So this is what I did. I clicked to add a title. I clicked to add text. And most of my presentations looked like this. So they were full of bullet points, lists, a lot of text to read. And I thought that it was very convenient because if I forgot to say something, well, my audience could still read everything on the slide. But at second thought, I realized that it was not really my way to present things. Usually, well, when I try to listen to someone, I cannot concentrate on what is written at the same time. And when I try to read, well, it's difficult if someone is speaking at the same time. So I try to change my presentation style to better separate the audio and the visual channel so that in the end, most of my presentations were like this. Most slides were made of drawings, pictures, charts, and less and less text, so that most of the text was in fact given in the speech. Actually, I felt better about it, but it was still frustrating because most of the time I had to show complex diagrams, big pictures that did not fit on a single slide, and my slideshow software missed an essential feature which was to zoom on the regions of interest that I wanted to show at a given time. At that time, a few years ago, a colleague of mine told me about a tool that did exactly this, that does exactly this. The tool is called Prezi. It's a proprietary software. And it does exactly what I want, but it has a license that does not really fit with my needs. To sum up, it is proprietary software with a closed document format. Everything is done in the cloud. So it is not even possible to get a local copy of my document data on my own computer. So I started to think about a possible alternative to Prezi that would use free software and open standards. And I called this tool Sozi. Okay, if you speak French, you know that a Sozi is a lookalike, someone that looks very much like you. Sozi is not actually a clone of Prezi. It's a different software with different features, a different philosophy, and a different workflow. It gives similar effects, as you can see from this presentation, but it is not the same tool at all. First of all, when I started developing Sozi, I chose a base document format, and I chose SVG because most of my presentations are drawing intensive. They contain a lot of diagrams, and it was very convenient to have a vector drawing format for this. And it's very convenient for authors because there already exist several drawing software that support SVG, either natively or as an export format. You can see some of them here. Some are free, some are non-free. On the other hand, today almost everybody has an SVG viewer on their computer in the form of a web browser. And support for SVG has improved a lot over the last few years. I was told that even Internet Explorer now can display Sozi presentations quite correctly. And finally, adding JavaScript to SVG allows to make dynamic documents that you can play like this. So here is the basic workflow of how to create a presentation using Sozi. First of all, you will use your favorite vector drawing software, such as Inkscape, and you will draw several elements, the visual content of your presentation, as if you were creating a big poster with everything on a single page. Then you can add presentation information. First of all, you can delimit your frames using rectangles, for instance. And you can open the Sozi editor, which is now implemented as an Inkscape extension. So you can see here the main window of Sozi, which is an independent window from Inkscape. And from this window, you will edit every information of your presentation. You will give frames titles, you will program delays, you will tell whether you want the rectangles to be hidden or visible. And this extension will add information to your SVG document in the form of custom XML elements. And it will add a script element that contains the JavaScript Sozi player. When you save your document, you get a standalone presentation that you can distribute, that you can play immediately. You can open it in your web browser, and it will play immediately without the need for a plugin or an additional software. Sozi has been around for a few years. I chose a numbering system that uses the year and the month. So we are today the latest stable version is called Sozi 13, and it is based on the following software. It uses Inkscape and its extension system, and the extension itself is written in Python and uses GTK2 through PyGTK. This editor has a lot of problems today. It works well for most use cases, but we can say that this user interface is not really suitable for a presentation editor. We would expect something more direct. Here, it is a form-based user interface with lists, with fields, and the extension system of Inkscape makes it very inefficient and quite boring to use. Moreover, it is based on technologies that are considered today out of date. GTK2 and PyGTK. PyGTK is not maintained anymore, so it is problematic to use it now, and especially it is difficult to install on other operating systems than Linux. Windows and OS X users usually have problems installing Sozi on their computers. So what will Sozi 14 look like? I have chosen to give up maintaining the Inkscape extension, and I want to switch to a new editor based on web technologies, namely HTML5 and JavaScript and SVG. It will provide a better user interface that would look like this, with direct manipulation of the document. And from a developer's point of view, it will be better because we can share code between the player part and the editor part, which was not possible with the Python version. This development has just begun, so there is currently no prototype available. This is a personal project. I work mostly alone on this in my spare time, so I will need help. If you are willing to provide some help, you can contact me and we will discuss how we can organize. This is the address of the main website, the official website for Sozi. Thank you for your attention, and maybe I have time for some questions.
So I usually write my presentations in LaTeX. Is there a good way to, how would you do this, combining this with this? Would I sort of write my slides first in LaTeX and then turn them into importable figures that I can use this on? Or is there something you've been thinking about?
I'm not sure I heard everything you said.
I was basically wondering, is there a way that you thought about how you would combine this system with a LaTeX-based, because I use lots of equations and...
It's not something that I have thought about.
There is a LaTeX extension for Inkscape.
Yes.
You can render all your code in Inkscape and then use it in your presentation.
Yeah.
So you will use external other tools, yes, or an Inkscape extension for Inkscape or LaTeX. Well, so it's one possibility. The basic philosophy of Sozi is to edit all your the complete document in an SVG editor, or to get it generated from another tool. Someone has made a port for the diagram editor that can export to SVG. So the idea is that you must rely on existing tools that generate SVG. Another question?
Yeah, over here. No, on your left. Thanks. I'm not a Sozi user myself, but I do use Inkscape for my presentations. So I generate in PDF using some Python magic. And I'm a bit... Surely you don't plan to re-implement all of Inkscape features in HTML? And I'm a bit lost because your final editor will probably be less powerful than Inkscape is.
Okay. The idea is that this tool will just replace this one. I mean, I'm not planning to re-implement anything that messes with the visual content of the document. The idea is to just provide a presentation editor that will just manage the presentation data, not the content of the document itself. There has been an attempt for this. It is called Awation. It is not currently developed anymore. It was an attempt to make something more Prezi-like, but using a web interface. So it allowed to create elements, create text elements, create shapes, and it used the Sozi kernel in the background, but it's not currently developed anymore, I think. Yes?
Can we see the source code?
Sorry?
Can we see the source code of your presentation?
Source code of this presentation?
Yes. You said it
Yes,
is in Sozi. So we are all developers here. Perhaps one hour. I want to see the source code if possible. Thank you.
This is an SVG document played in Firefox, actually. So it is an Inkscape generated SVG with many metadata added by Inkscape itself. In the end, we will find these elements. These are the frame elements that are added by Sozi with information, presentation information here. So the NS1 is actually the Sozi namespace that is used, that is added by Inkscape, and you will find maybe the script element, which is a minified version of the Sozi player JavaScript.
We have a last question.
It's about using Sozi specifics markup. Have you tried to use smile elements instead to annotate the animation declaratively?
No, I have not.
No. Okay.
All the animation part is managed directly in JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
There were a good summary of why Smile was not considered for this. It's on in the issue tracker of the project. Well, I'm not sure I can find it easily now, but someone argued that we should use Smile, and another user explained what it was not a good idea. I don't remember exactly why. But in fact, when I started the development of this, it was easier and more, well, animating in JavaScript had better support, browser support than Smile. So I stick to this implementation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
A last question, maybe someone?
Hey, thanks. If you're looking for extra developers and people working, how is your, let's say, development community looking like? Do you have a issue tracker you discuss, but do you have, for example, I don't know, a Git repository that people can download, etc.? Can you talk about that?
This project is hosted at GitHub, so you can already contribute by forking, submitting patches, providing translations, submitting issues. There is currently no actual development team, so it's not easy to plan anything. So maybe we should get in touch later and try to find out a way to work together.
Thank you for your presentation and good luck with the future of your software.